G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 5 of the season. Gather round, an exciting time in the season, and we'll get stuck into that very shortly. But we do have to have a bit of a look at last week, which was a bit of it was a tough week at the office, I must say. Probably not just for me, but for everyone. I think 4.7 was the average across the weekend, if I take a look. But yeah, Brisbane was all good. I thought Carlton, it's better footy, had been more solid than Norths, but not to be. Another second half fade out, final quarter fade out more so. The Crows nabbed by under a kick. Dockers were probably better on the night. Thought the Tigers would be better than that, but clearly a few stars out for them didn't help. And Gold Coast, unbelievable at home, but they're just not quite, don't have the same punch away from home. But Melbourne also playing some pretty good footy. I was saved by the bell with Hawthorn getting the job done. I suspected that would be really close, and I thought Hawthorn, they're too good of a side. You can't always win them, but as much as Cats fans would like to, one of the great games to watch if you're a neutral fan or a Hawthorn fan. All right, well, let's get stuck into it. So Thursday night, we'll kick us off. We've got Adelaide and Carlton. Probably some, not really the forum for today, but a little bit miffed that there are a lot of games that we've seen before at Gather Round. I think you've got to mix them up, but I won't go into a full deep dive on that today. But give it a bit of a different mix. Anyway, Adelaide, they've got Carlton. The Crows just went down by 2 points to the Dockers. And the Blues, their woes continue. They've lost 3 of their last 4. They haven't had the start of the season they would have liked. Vossi's under all sorts of pressure. They went down to North. It was about 10 points in the end, a couple of kicks. Have to go Adelaide. Now I've got to think of a margin that's somewhat respectable. Acknowledging the Crows have a few injuries. No Hayward for the Blues. Don't think that's a huge thorn in the side. But I'll go 38 points. Just to, you just never quite know. It could be 88 points, but I'll stick with the conservative 38. Okie dokie. Then we go to the Friday night game. We've got Collingwood. They are up against the Dockers. Collingwood went down to Brisbane. It was about 50 plus points in the end. Fremantle, they got the job done over the Crows. That one, again, just mentioned before, was a 2-point victory. The Pies been pretty battered and bruised, had some scoring issues throughout the first part of the season. Not sure what Dacos's health looks like and Pendlebury and everyone else, but even with those players back in, I just love the defence of the Dockers and their ball movement. They're very stingy down back, and they're also, exploring very well with the ball. So I'm going to go the Dockers, looking the goods so far in 2026. Then we go to the Saturday games and we head up to the Barossa. So we've got North Melbourne. They face the biggest challenge in football, which is the Brisbane Lions. North Melbourne got a nice win over the Blues. That one, 10-point win, a great fight back and comeback in that final term. Brisbane, showed the comp how scary they are with a really big win over the Pies, as mentioned before, 50-plus point win. They're at the Gabba, getting it done at home quite easily in the end. North must hate Gather Round at times. I'm sure they like everything but the game. Having to face Brisbane, I think 3 out of the 4 times that Gather Rounds happened. And when Brisbane have been in the form they have been the last 3 or 4 years, it's hard to go past them. And you'd expect that they'll win by 7+ goals. Then we have Essendon at Adelaide Oval. They are going to host Melbourne. Essendon, I think they've lost 15 or 16 in a row. I'm losing count at this stage, but feeling for the Bomber fans out there. They had a much better competitive performance against the Bulldogs. It was about 6 goals in the end, the margin there. And a very impressive win by the Demons, and what a start to the season they've had. 3-1 at the moment with a 20-point win, 26-point win over the Gold Coast Suns. I think the Bombers got the job done the last couple of times, or 2 out of the last 3 Gather Round games. Don't think it's going to happen this time, though. Melbourne under Stephen King looking really menacing with their ball movement and dangerous up forward, but attacking quite nicely. All right, so now we go out to Norwood Oval. Sydney have the Gold Coast Suns. Sydney, an absolute demolition job over the Eagles. It was about 128 points in the end. Gold Coast went down to the Ds, as mentioned before. Going to be a tough game to pick here. I mean, if it was at people first, I'd be leaning towards the Suns, but I'm going to lean towards the Swans. And they're playing some great footy. They're looking like a top 2 side when they have their handball game going. Front half handball game, just moving the ball very nicely. And I think, I would say that they're a slightly better side than Gold Coast. So hopefully that proves to be correct. In general, decent record against the Suns as well, which also helps. Then, what a game we got here. Adelaide Oval, Saturday night, possibly game of the round. There's a few spicy clashes coming up. Hawthorn have the Western Bulldogs. The Hawks got a great win over the Cats. 1 point winners on Easter Monday, which hurts my heart. But they were the better side on the day, unfortunately, for Cats fans. The Western Bulldogs did what they had to do. Put their game to bed at halftime, and then was kind of even from there. Going to have to see the health on some players here, but I'm going to just lean towards the Bulldogs. They haven't really put a foot wrong so far. They've been really good in some tight games as well. And Hawthorn, they absolutely threw the kitchen sink at the Cats, put 120% out there. So I'm just going to go to the Dogs, albeit they've got a couple of woes as well. All right, now let's look at the Sunday games here. So we've got Geelong, and they have West Coast at Norwood Oval. Geelong, went down to the Hawks by a point. Easter Monday clash, and West Coast, got absolutely pulverised. So I can guarantee you it won't be 128 points loss to the Eagles here. I'd love to know the highest score at Norwood now that I'm thinking about it. But I'll be leaning towards the Cats to respond. I don't think it's going to be an easy game though. And it's probably the Cats by 4 to 6 goals. I just think the Eagles will be annoying and go with us for a lot longer than Cats fans would like. But get the 4 points, try not to get too many injuries. That'll be the goal. Bank those wins. All right, so we've got Barossa Park, and we've got GWS and Richmond there. The Giants, they've had their challenges early in the season. They're sitting 1-3 at the moment. I'm trying to think of who they actually played. I have to refer here, not off muscle memory. Okay, so right. They're the one of the 2 teams that had the bye. There was no real result in my head that came up to the surface there. But the Giants, they went down to the Pies before they had a bye. Richmond very disappointing against the West Coast Eagles. No, not quite. No, they were up against Port Adelaide. My apologies. GWS have to win, and they should win. They barely beat the Tigers at their home deck last year, at NG Stadium. So, look, they just have to win. They're a much more accomplished side than the Tigers, albeit they've got a few injuries, but just need the 4 points. All right, now final game of the round, and we've got Port Adelaide and St Kilda here. Port had a nice win over Richmond, has to be said. Don't know if Richmond were favourites or Port were favourites, but either way, it was a good result for them. Lee playing amazing footy. Then we have a look at the Saints. They're currently sitting 1-3. They had the bye, and I don't even know who they lost to. They lost to Brisbane, so it's a fair result there. I feel like the Saints got Port Adelaide maybe one game ago, or of recent times. If I check the form guide here, the Saints did beat the Port Power last time. So that definitely marries up. I'm going to go the Saints because Port Adelaide were probably a better side then, and they're a worse side now. The Saints are a better side now than what they were then, so I am going to go the Saints to win. We'll see if that logic holds up. We will find out though. Okie dokie, so let's have a look who have gone this weekend. So gone Adelaide by 38, could be 88. Fremantle, then we got Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, Western Bulldogs, Geelong, GWS, and a little bit of an upset there with the Saints getting over the line. So, hopefully we can get back to some better form. This week was a pretty rough week last week, but hey, those rounds happen and you can't win them all, as we know. There we go. So those are my tips for round 5 of the season. Give the video a like, subscribe away, guys. Really appreciate it. Comment who you think's going to win over the weekend. Any upsets you've got in mind as well. Happy to hear about those as well. Beautiful. Well, yeah, thanks again for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. Have a good one, and I will catch you on the next video.